How's everyone doing, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping out another video. Right, guys, you can tell from the title, this video is going to be on the rise of crime within society and stuff. Now, it's been released today, figures have been released today, that shows that crime across the board is soaring, to be honest. Doesn't surprise me. As a former career criminal, someone that's been involved in crime, someone that knows crime inside and out, being in prison, being involved with crime, and obviously over the years and stuff, I've seen the decline of police numbers and stuff. I mean, under the Tories, police numbers are down 20,000, which is a great thing for criminals. I'm obviously out of crime now and I don't vindicate crime, but yeah, 20,000 police officers off the street is a great result for criminals. It's a green light for criminals to commit offences across the board, and the police are powerless to stop it. Right? These criminals see that the police numbers are dropping. Community police stations on the intercity estates and stuff are closing on a weekly basis. Areas going unpoliced. The youths are running feral. You've got postcode gangs, you've got the rise of acid attacks, knife crime, assaults, gun crime, fraud. Unbelievable. Like, it's lawless, guys. The streets are lawless right now. I tried to do a call in today with LBC Radio, right? And when you ring in, right, you speak to a researcher first. You tell the researcher, right, what you want to say, right? And they didn't have me on the program. Instead, choosing middle-class people that have got no experience of crime, right? Never experienced crime. They read about crime. That's it. I'm a former criminal, so that's what I do. That's why I speak out on crime, gun crime, knife crime, policing issues, policing levels from a former criminal's perspective and things like that. I articulate the subject quite well. I might be a thick, uneducated, like, former criminal, but I'm also very switched on, and I can talk quite eloquently about the subjects and stuff and articulate the subject matter quite well. So yeah, like I say, it doesn't shock me. I've done interviews with the local news and stuff, right, about the state of crime and stating that like, it's just a matter of time before we was labelled Gunchester again, and knife crime and gun crime and gangs and stuff, and areas going unpoliced and feral use and stuff. And like I say, it's the Tory government that are to blame. Now, if you're a criminal, right, you see these facts and stuff, and you see these figures, and you're thinking, oh, this is good for us. Like I say, I'm out of crime and I don't vindicate crime, and I would never tell anybody to commit crime. But obviously, being a Manchester lad and stuff, crime's a big thing here in Manchester. Attitudes towards the police have changed. The police are seen as useless and worthless and stuff. You've got people on the intercity estates. It's an increasing thing. I've been involved in it myself, where people that live on the estates and stuff, because the police are not turning up, because crimes are going uninvestigated, because crimes are going unsolved, because it's taking the police 24, 48 hours to respond to things like a burglary of a house or something, and obviously response times are down as well, because, like I say, there's less police and stuff like that. I think Greater Manchester Police, I think it's the second biggest force in the UK. I think it's this, like, obviously it's a very big area to cover. You've got Greater Manchester Police is that, exactly that. It's Greater Manchester, which is a very vast and big area and stuff. Now, like I say, so because of these reasons, right, what is happening on the intercity estates, right, guys, like the council estates in Manchester and all over the country, right, people on the estates and stuff are increasingly turning to criminals, hard men, gangsters, gangs, hard men to sort out situations on the estates, whether it's low-level crime, antisocial behaviour, or serious crimes. Because obviously these hardened criminals, they're feared in the community and stuff, and they're sorting out problems and stuff. It's called community policing, right, from the criminal side of things, and it works, guys. Like I say, I've been part of it myself. I've sorted out many problems for people over the years and stuff like that. So I've seen it take place firsthand. Now, like I say, I'm anti-police, I'm an anti-establishment all day, every day. The police are seen as worthless and useless here in Manchester because of the police corruption that people see, the fact that the crime rates are soaring, the fact that police numbers are so low and stuff. The streets are lawless. People are taking the law into their own hands on a daily basis because, like I say, people don't trust the police, people don't talk to the police and stuff like that. There's definitely a breakdown between the police and Joe Public. And it just goes on. I mean, Aristotle himself said that poverty is the parent of crime and revolution. Right? Aristotle said that, right? And it's as true then as it is today. Like I say, these gangs and stuff, these criminals, like because of poverty and because people are struggling and stuff, right? Crime's defined by many different things. If you buy knockoff fags, right, it's tax evasion, right? If you buy knockoff fags, people buy Cody boxes, right? Them Cody boxes, them like IPTV boxes and stuff like that. That's illegal, right? Like I say, people are working hard a lot of people in the working class, right, are working for minimum wage, right? And the cost of living's going up, right? So minimum wage creeps up bit by bit. Inflation soars. Inflation goes up a couple of percent. Your rate of pay might go up 1%, but the rate of inflation goes up 3%. So it's going to cost. So the gaps between the haves and have-nots, guys, are getting bigger year on year. And like I say, so people increasingly are buying knockoff fags. They're buying these dodgy TV boxes. They're committing crime. The shoplifting. They're being drug dealers. They're fraudsters. Like I say, every different crime that's out there. And then, do you know what makes me laugh, right? The government, right? They cut 20,000 police numbers, right, under the Tories, right? And then what they do, they want to outline more, then they make more things illegal and stuff. Now, knife crime, gun crime is a big thing. Then it was knife crime, right? Then you've got acid attacks. Then you've got the terror attacks, right? The simple fact is that the police, right, are stretched beyond any sort of resources they've got. They do a very difficult job in very hard circumstances with a very, very limited budget. And that dickhead on the bike, right? Yeah, they do a very difficult job with an ever-decreasing budget and stuff like that. But like I say, I am anti-police and stuff like that. I've been subject to police corruption. I was stitched up by the police, ended up in prison because of the police, right? On a stitch-up, on a witness intimidation with no evidence, right? So I've got no sympathy for the police and stuff. The attitudes towards the police on the inner city estates, right? When kids are even kids now that are being brought up, right, know that the police are seen as the enemy, right? And it's drilled into these kids from a young age that the police are the enemy and stuff, and it's an us versus them mentality. And I can understand and see why. Like I say, crime's flourishing, crime's soaring, police numbers are down. It's a free-for-all. It's free reign for criminals across the board to commit crime, knowing that there's a very high probability that the crime's going to go investigated, unsolved. The police, because of police, obviously response times and stuff are down because obviously the resources are being stretched and stuff. Doesn't surprise me in any way, shape or form. It's like, but the thing is, for the safety of Joe Public, people that live within the confines of the law and stuff, and that don't commit crime, they're obviously going to be scared and panic and worried, because obviously they're going to see these figures and going to see the facts of like what's going on, and some of them will be scared for their own safety and stuff. Like I say, house burglaries, commercial burglaries, car crime, knife crime, gun crime, drug offences. Like I say, it's all going on. People, because of austerity and because of poverty, people are increasingly turning to crime. Some are opportunistic, some are career criminals, right? I've been there and I've done it. I've been involved in all that stuff. I'm not proud to say that, but like I say, it's just a true reflection. That was my life. Like I say, I now don't commit crime. I'm now out of crime. I now do interviews and do vlogs and stuff and on my experiences and stuff. Like, what are your experiences of crime, guys? Like, have you been the victim of a crime? Have you been in prison? Have you been involved in crime? Have you been forced into crime because of poverty? Like I say, some people, like people that are working for minimum wage and stuff, just buying knockoff fags or something like that, like they might see it as innocent, but it's actually an elite. They're actually, like I say, it's dodgy, it's tax evasion. Them cigs have not had duty paid on them, tax and stuff, UK tax. And they're obviously mixed with all sorts of stuff, chemicals and stuff, because they're not proper brands of cigarettes. They've been made in a warehouse by some criminals in a foreign country, and then they're shipped to the UK, and then people are buying them because, like I say, the cost of fags is going up, because anything that's got an addictive nature, alcohol, tobacco, the government tax and stuff and get a good revenue from it. So people buying dodgy fags and stuff like that, it goes on. And it's just any crime across the board, guys. Like, I don't know these exact statistics, to be honest, But like I say, I've seen this crime's up 13%, crimes on the person have gone up 16%, overall crime's gone up this, that and the other. And like I say, is it any surprise, guys, really? But like I say, if you're a criminal, I got out of crime at the wrong time, man. I've seen all these figures today and I'm thinking, wow. Like, when I was a criminal, I've been to prison like a couple of times, right? But when I was a criminal and stuff, I was very lucky. I've been arrested for a hell of a lot of things, but I'd only been to prison a handful of times, right? Now, that was for many different reasons, which I can't obviously incriminate myself and stuff. But, yeah. So like I say, I look at crime now and I look at like the police numbers and stuff and the statistics and everything, and you've got to look and think the odds are stacked highly in the favour of the criminals and stuff. Like I say, it's just crazy, guys. Like I say, crime. I've seen. I watch the news a lot. I stay up to like date with current affairs, and I see crime flourishing and I see criminals flourishing and stuff. Prisons are rife with drugs and crime and stuff, and people are running protection rackets and drug wars and gang wars in prison, running things on the outside. I mean, crime's everywhere, guys. Crime's on the streets, crime's in prison, drug crime, knife crime, gun crime. Like I say, I'm out of the criminal world now, but a pair of leather gloves, a hood or a balaclava go a long way in a crime and stuff like that. And then, like I say, I don't implore people to commit crime and stuff like that. I'm not going to tell people to go and, to commit crime and stuff, because obviously I wouldn't do that. It'd be irresponsible of me to do that. But do I blame criminals for really committing offences? No. Like, look at drug dealers, right? I'm a former drug dealer, but they're making a big wage, right? They're killing people. It's killing people, and it fuels crime, because them drug addicts have to commit crime, break into houses, burglaries, car crime, things like that, car theft and stuff, right, to feed the habits and stuff, right? And it's the criminals that are getting fat and rich. But it's like I say, you've got to do what you've got to do to survive. The government are actually to blame, because like I say, if they actually paid, obviously crime's going to exist forever, you can't eradicate crime, but if they paid people like living wages that they could actually afford things, right, people wouldn't cut corners. Like I say, you've got serious criminals, right, that commit serious offences and stuff, right, and it's their career. And then you've got opportunistic people, like they might shoplift, or they might buy a sleeve of 200 fags, or they might buy one of them silly Cody boxes, right? Like I say, people do what they've got to do because to cut corners, because they can't afford Sky Television, they can't afford like nearly £9 for a pack of 20 fags when it's an addictive substance and stuff. So yeah, crime's all around us, and like I say, is it really to blame when people work their ass off 40 hours a week and are getting like £200 a week, £250 a week? No, not at all. People do what they've got to do to survive, guys. It's simple as that. It's dog eat dog world. Simple as that. You guys let me know what you think about the video. Right, guys, going to leave this video here. Like, comment, subscribe. Speak to you all soon. Bye.